Hey people! Today I am coming to you from my rehearsal room where I am preparing for our next tour. In my last video I showed you the experimental drum set I played on our tour last year. You may remember the unusual setup where I switched the feet. But I just couldn't let the matter rest, and it's some more experimenting in my laboratory here. So I came up with this new setup which I will show you today. A lot of people ask me why I didn't use a cable hi-hat with my last setup so I wouldn't have to switch the feet. But my answer was always, I wanted to switch the feet. That was the point of it. I just wanted to try to play the bass drum with my left and the hi-hat with my right foot for the whole tour, while of course continuing to play open-handed on top. From this idea everything developed. The idea to use a remote pedal to control the hi-hat with my left foot and have it on my right side I already had for some years now, and I always wanted to try it. So that's what I did here. So now this is the main idea with this setup. I wanted to position the snare drum and the hi-hat as close as possible because I wanted to be able to play both from a relaxed sitting position. But then the problem appeared that the bass drum was in the way, so I couldn't arrange the hi-hat like I wanted to. So I did the following. I converted my double pedal into a lefty one and played the slave pedal with my right foot. Some might say that the transmission of this pedal is not as direct because of the drive line, but if this were true, we shouldn't use double pedals anyway. I'd rather have a good double pedal with a smooth transmission and low friction than a cheap, rusty, poorly adjusted single pedal. This has way worse transmission. Now I have the bass drum on my left side, and having the double pedal has another advantage. I always have a backup pedal with me. You should always have a backup snare drum and pedal with you on tour. Everything else you can compensate for. And because on one of our last tours I played the bass drum with my left foot the whole time, I am able to just put my left foot on the main pedal in case there's any problem with the slave pedal. At first I wanted to position the remote pedal left of the bass drum pedal, but then I had the problem that I was sitting more to the left and the bass drum was very close. As I told you in my last video, I don't like to have the snare too close because I want to be able to play it from a relaxed position and not pull my arms back. But that wasn't possible, because the bass drum was in the way. So now I have the remote pedal between the bass drum pedals, which are as far apart as possible. So now I have a good and natural position for my feet on the hi-hat and the bass drum slave pedal. You can also see that the pedals are not exactly symmetrical. I talk a lot about symmetry and ergonomics, and this arrangement here has a very specific reason. I don't play the bass drum pedal with the tip of my foot all the way up the footboard. I have the ball of my foot at the best fulcrum, about halfway up the footboard. On the hi-hat pedal, on the other hand, I am almost all the way up the footboard. This means that it doesn't depend on the position of the pedals, but on a symmetrical playing position of the feet on the pedals. And with this arrangement I achieved that. With my last setup I had the toms exactly symmetrical. Now the rec tom is back up here, it switched places with the right cymbal. Because I realized that I of course play much more on the right cymbal than on the tom. When that's the case, I'd rather have the cymbal in a comfortable playing position and approximately symmetrical with the hi-hat. The cymbals up here didn't change very much. The two crashes moved a little closer together, that just felt a little more comfortable. The whole set is a little more compact than the last one and can now even fit on a 2x2 meter drum riser. There is one more little change. Usually I prefer everything to be solid and every tom and cymbal to have its own stand. I don't like it if something is wobbling while I'm playing. If it's not stable, it gives me a bad feeling and affects my playing. But in this case I made a compromise, and for 5 cymbals, 2 toms and 1 cowbell I only used 3 stands. Because all of this is heavy gear which we have to carry and drive through the whole country. So I made a compromise serving the environment, and that I do with pleasure. So that's it. The main idea with this setup is I have the hi-hat on my right side but control it with my left foot. I play the bass drum with my right foot, but the instrument itself stands on my left side. And from there, everything else developed bit by bit. Just like with my previous setup, everything evolved naturally from the main idea. And this is the setup I play at our shows at the moment. Now I will play you a song from our new album, but you can also check out the drum cam videos from our last tour. I hope to see you at one of our shows soon or in the next videos.
Sterbt so lang.